podcast about comics. A podcast about comics.
Welcome to America. Man, I die for America. I served my time for America. Got shot back, went to war, got back, and ain't nobody give a jack in America. I could have lost my life, why I lost my wife. I can't even get right in my homeland. Cold sweats, whole text, paranoid, looking out for a threat in my own land. I was trained in America. How they get up in the planes in America? Flew right into the buildings, taking out civilians, people getting killed in America. And I'm still in America. Though America ain't feeling me, I went to war for this country. Turned around, came home, and you drilling me? When y'all free here, saying you don't wanna be here, well, you probably couldn't breathe here if I didn't load a couple magazines here. Y'all just complaining in America. I'm jumping out of military planes from America. Hey, I was made in America. That's why I'm out here saving America. I got a brother in the cemetery now because he wanted y'all safe. And everybody want the freedom, but nobody want to hear about face. We bled for America, to keep y'all fed in America. But what's the point of talking? A lot of y'all don't really even care, America.
Welcome back to another episode of a podcast about comics. This is your boy Tchallabp74 and my man
Kei'Tano.
Back by popular demand in the house today. We have our resident Bucky. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Reese Van Kiv here.
All right, before we get going, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Follow us in all news, rumors, confirmations, and gossip. Guys, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man.
Great.
Doing good.
Doing good.
Good. So we're gonna wrap up this Falcon and Winter Soldier epic six episode thing, that this marvelous genius masterpiece that we had for the last month and a half. First off, Kei'Tano, you look pretty dope, dude.
Thank you.
Look awesome.
You look pretty dope. And so do you, Bucky. I see what you sweat and your tags. So before we get going, I have to give a special shout out to somebody. This episode I'm going to dedicate to my man Ted Orth, aka Iron Man Jax. And the reason for that is about, I want to say 5 weeks ago, after the first episode dropped.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to me. He sent me a text. He said, "Hey man, have you been watching the Falcon and Winter Soldier show?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he said, "I know everybody knows you as Black Panther, thinks of you as Black Panther, but for me, you'll always be Sam Wilson."
Mm-hmm.
And it meant a lot, because when me and him first started doing, these heroes things where, we suit up in hero stuff and we go to these elementary schools and boys and girls club doing the anti-bullying thing and so on and so on. I was Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that, there was a lot of times where I used to suit up as Black Panther and do events,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of kids didn't know who Black Panther was because he wasn't on the screen yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to get a lot of people would call me Batman. So I said, I need something that they are very recognizable to.
Yeah.
So right after the Winter Soldier dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I went ahead and busted out my first Winter Soldier version of Falcon.
Okay.
And I started, doing the Falcon thing, and me and Ted kind of hooked up, and we were doing events together, so Sam is closer to him, in his heart. So when he said that to me, I was like, it meant a lot,
Mm-hmm.
So I said, man, I'm gonna dedicate the finale to my man Ted. So this one's for you, Ted.
All
so
right.
Bucky, how you felt about the last 3 episodes?
Man, that was amazing. Can we please get a season 2? Like, seriously.
Well,
I don't think that's a question though. I don't foresee any of these shows so far being questioned about a season 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've been monumental.
Yeah. I mean, I know they announced Cap 4.
Well, yeah, they just confirmed that they're going to be doing a Captain America 4.
Yeah.
With Sam Wilson reprising his role as Captain America and so on and so on. And
Mhm.
apparently a lot of these people who we seen in this show is going to be making a reappearance. I don't know if they're going to be like consistent throughout the whole show or just popping up.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have confirmed Captain America 4. What were your favorite episode? Let's go with you, Bucky.
I have to pick one.
If you okay, fine.
If I had to pick one,
I mean, there's only
let's-
6. There's only 6
know.
episodes, so no, you
I
only
know,
get to
but
choose
there's-
one.
I mean,
You only
there's
choose
things
one.
there's things I loved in each episode.
Mhm.
I mean, I loved the opening of episode 4, even though it was like it hit me in the feels really hard. But I mean, I also loved the beginning.
I knew that one would have gotten.
Yeah, it was
for
like
sure.
I was somewhere between like I loved it, but also it's like it was part of me was like I didn't need to see that for just the amount of times I've cried like that in the past year. But
Yeah.
but then also the beginning of episode 5 where they're
Okay.
it's like that thing.
Would you couldn't pick a favorite though?
I
If
really
it
couldn't.
came down to picking one or the other.
No, I really couldn't. I really couldn't.
Okay, let me put it to you like this. If you didn't pick both of them was never ever going to be shown again, and you had to pick one to save them all, which one would you pick?
If I had to pick one,
All to save all the episodes, because you can't just say it gotta be one.
5.
5. Okay.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What about you, Kei'Tano?
It's 4. It's 4 all day for me.
All
Because
right,
that's
here's
when you
mine.
see the Dora Milaje get down, you know.
True.
And
My
and
dude, you're a man after my own heart.
John Walker. Hey, first of all, here's the reason why I tell you guys that when it comes to Sam Wilson, he's a better man than me. Because in episode 4, I would have got some popcorn and I would have sat down, if I'm Sam.
You were saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But listen, because Sam is who Sam is. First of all, we didn't even put up a spoiler warning. Guys, go and see Falcon and Winter Soldier. If you haven't, then
Hey, look,
this
if
is
you
a
haven't
spoiler
seen
alert
episode
right now.
4, if you haven't seen episode 4, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, because I'm going to talk.
Hey, apparently there's some people out there who haven't. So again, spoiler warning.
Yes.
This is the time to turn it off if you haven't seen 4, 5, and 6. Okay.
Yeah. So Sam and Steve would try to intervene. Me, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna watch John get handed his tail to him by the Doras. That's what I'm doing.
That's not very Sam of you, buddy.
It's not.
Which is why
That's
I
why keep
enjoyed
telling y'all.
Which is why I
Not
enjoyed episode 5 so much, because it just started off.
Yeah, and you get to see the whooping that Walker got from both of them.
Yeah.
For me, episode 4, again, you echoed what I was gonna say. My girls, you got to see my girls do what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for too many
they
movies,
did it well.
we haven't. Yes, and for too many movies, we have not got to see just how dope they are.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, what
Even
I mean?
like in Captain America: Civil War, where Io tells Natasha, "Move, or you will be moved." That's all we get to see. We don't get to see.
Oh yeah. Okay,
That's
you
it.
know,
We don't get to. Yeah,
Civil
but I'm
War.
saying
Okay,
like when you go back to Civil War, like now we see what was behind that threat.
Yeah.
And
I gotta admit, I don't think Black Widow. I don't think she would have fared too well.
No, she wouldn't have.
No.
Well, that's a nod to the books, because
Mhm.
in the Civil War books, it's one of the spin-off. I think it's the Black Panther spin-off. I'm not sure. I want to say it is, but remember, T'Challa was on the side of Steve Rogers. So one time, Natasha being on Steve's side followed T'Challa, trying to spy on him. T'Challa sensed her like 5 blocks back following him. And then you see the next panel where, T'Challa turns around and he talks to her and he says, listen, I'm not even going to deal with you. You're my light work. My Dora Milaje going to handle my light work. And the Dora Milaje came out. And if I wasn't mistaken, I think it was Ayo and Okoye. But remember, in the comics, Okoye is not the general of the Dora Milaje.
Right.
She is where Ayo is today. She's like the lieutenant. She's on the right side of T'Challa. She's always been on his right side. They just made her the general here. In the comics, Miss Anika is. She's the one who actually like trains the Dora Milaje, make sure they get ready and all that, so they kind of switched that. But you never really got to see like how dope they are in the on the big screen. Infinity War came around. You got to see them on the battlefield, but you couldn't get like a zoom in with what they were doing.
I think the most
they did that in the Black Panther movie.
As I say, the most we got to see them, especially fighting as a team, was in Black Panther. In Infinity War, you couldn't even tell who was fighting who.
You couldn't.
It was too far away.
Yeah. And then on top of that, for what we did get to see, you didn't get to see like really any like close-up tactical skill level of the Dora Milaje.
Right.
So for us to get to see them on that level and doing what they do, oh man.
Are you somewhat disappointed that in the Black Panther movie, when the Doras face off with Killmonger, that he kind of handles them with ease?
Well, I don't think he handled them with ease. I don't think he handled them with ease at all.
It didn't look like he struggled.
Dude, yeah, it was a back and forth tussle between him and them. But remember, his suit at this point, kinetic and vibranium weaved. Okay. And he is a trained martial artist, Olympic level gymnast, all of that with a heart-shaped herb flowing through him.
Yeah. So these girls have been training since they were 8 years old.
He's a souped up Wakanda super soldier, is pretty much what he was. Okay. With that suit on. And these girls, again, they have there's nothing other than their vibranium weapons. Right. And their weave clothing. They're just regular human beings.
Right. Because if I remember
who've been trained since they were 8 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. If I remember correctly, they had him locked down until he did what was it? The kinetic energy. Yeah. And up until that, until that, they had the upper hand. Then he used the kinetic energy, and that's when, all of a sudden they're in the middle of the battlefield.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. What you guys think about, just the disarming of Bucky? Because remember, Bucky got disarmed.
Yeah.
It made sense to me. Because why would you, with Bucky's past, why would you not put a failsafe in there?
A failsafe. I saw somewhere else, like if it needed maintenance was the other question, But no, having a failsafe in there, especially even though with all of the progress he made and he no longer has the programming, something could happen. Anything could happen,
anything could happen, right?
PTSD is very much a thing, especially for him. So it's like
also he might come back under the control of mind control again.
Right.
Well, and this is probably why Io's like, when she's testing out whether or not he really has been deprogrammed, she's like, you won't hurt me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I could disarm that I can disarm that metal arm, or that vibranium arm.
They didn't give in to him until after. He didn't get it until the very beginning, until
Infinity War.
Right. So, but having a failsafe makes sense. The only thing was that nobody told him there was a failsafe. Which
then there's that.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. They broke Walker.
Yeah.
They broke Walker.
Yeah.
After they handled Walker, because he said it, and you could hear it in his voice when he said, they're not even super soldiers.
Let's be honest, though. If he had taken that serum before he fought them, they still would have whipped him.
They probably would have.
Yeah,
Keep
I
in
think
mind
so.
now. Keep in mind. T'Challa have taken down Steve many times.
Right.
Steve would sometimes train with T'Challa just to stay at peak level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, these girls are
No,
pretty dope. They are pretty dope.
Yeah.
You could have tell that he was gonna take that serum though.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
The crazy thing is before he did, right? You saw him doing little twitches.
Yeah.
Before
Hey, first of all,
because Bucky
Walker has something off. There's something off upstairs with him before he took the serum.
Yeah.
You know, you could, maybe it's the PTSD, or maybe it's just like, that's just something that's within him. But
I think
he wouldn't let Sam do his job. Say what?
I say PTSD, his need to please everybody, or the amount of pressure he was under as Captain America, plus just his personality in general. Even at the end of the series, when I know I'm jumping ahead, but even at the end, when he comes out in that new suit and he's just like, I'm back. I'm like, that seemed very, very childish to me. Very childish. So that's just, to me, it just seems like PTSD, you know, you're the pressure you're under, and then you're just your personality in general. I did not like his personality. It was just way too childish.
I get where you're coming from with the childish aspect, but what you also want to remember is that what he said at the hearing.
That too.
You built me.
Yeah.
You built me.
Yes.
Right. And so because he felt that so connected with his role as a military leader, to take that away from him leaves him with nothing.
Right.
Because that's all he knows is the military.
Right.
So I get where you're coming from, but for this, it's like, I'm back in the game and I'm back to doing what I love to do, which is defend the country.
Since we talking about that, right? Can we talk about the costume design team for this show? A minute. I just want to say props, hats off to them, right?
Yeah.
Because exactly what Walker looked like is exactly how he looks in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Exactly what Sam looked like is exactly how he looked in the comics.
Like we've had so many versions of Steve Rogers' costume in the movies that he was in. And I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, dude, even before we saw Sam's costume at the end, I was looking at Walker's. I was like, dude, that is like one of the most comic accurate costumes I have seen from Marvel. Like
very comic accurate.
Yeah.
Very comic accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very
like
impressed.
Hats off. And I don't know if you guys caught it in the last episode when the helicopter came down on him. When with his new wings, which we're gonna talk about a little bit more.
Dude,
later,
I saw that and I was just like,
when they wrapped around him,
the
shield was like the dome, the top dome.
Yes.
Right.
And the helicopter
you saw the rings. Yeah, you saw the rings of the Captain America symbol with the star, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the pattern on top of his wings. You guys didn't catch that, did you?
Nope.
No, that happened.
Yeah.
That happened way too fast. Yeah, that happened really fast.
I was the most
First
beautiful
of
thing
all,
I've ever seen.
how many times have you watched this episode, the last episode?
Only twice.
Okay.
How many times did you pause it?
Very good question. Now that's a
pause
really good
and
question.
Rewind, and because I was more like I was more watching it.
I don't know. Because there were things that I saw and I was like, wait a minute.
Excellent question, Bucky. Excellent question, because I didn't ask the right one. That was the right question to ask. Because you saw the answer was, I don't know. That was the answer.
Listen, I want to talk about two more things before we move on, right? So the guy that he kills in episode 4, The World Is Watching, right?
Yes.
The dude name was Nico. So the symbol that he saw that's bludgeoning him to death is a symbol that he always inspired from as a kid. That's the most messed up thing right there.
Oh yeah.
Killed by the symbol.
You're inspired. You're inspired by the symbol of Captain America, right?
Yeah.
And that's the symbol that literally ends your life, that kills you.
Mm-hmm. It was in the wrong hands, though.
Right.
It was
in the wrong hands.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to talk about is what Ayo says to Bucky before she disarms it. Like, she literally says to him, "Bass damns you."
Yeah.
Right, James.
Yeah.
Right. And this goes back to Wakanda mythos. Bass is the panther goddess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if the man who killed their king, who, if he's in his prime, he's the avatar of the panther god and the ruler of Wakanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Zemo kills this guy or causes this guy to die, the symbol of that, okay? And now the Dora Milaje mission is to get him incarcerated again, right? Bring him to justice.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky should not have allowed him to be free. Okay,
No.
fine. You allow him to be free, but then you're stopping us from doing our mission.
Right.
And it's at this very moment that Bass damns you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when she does. Pat, 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 pat. Arm fell.
Right.
Epic.
So you don't think
Epic.
that? I'm trying to make sure I formulate my question correctly, because there was an agreement that was made, and by the time they show up to collect Zemo, you know, she does voice her frustration, but it's not until he interferes with them acquiring him that she says that. So what I'm wondering is that loaded from accumulation of things, or it was just because he interfered with their business at the very end?
Yes, that's why.
Yeah. When he interfered, because they told him you have 8 hours. As soon as he interfered, of course, he was interfering to get them to stop fighting Walker, but within that interference, that's when Zemo got away.
Technically, he was interfering because Sam wouldn't shut up.
Yeah. But
if Sam doesn't say we got to stop this, he could just sit there and watch.
I mean,
because he knew they wasn't going to kill him. He knew that.
Yeah.
They weren't going to kill. They weren't going to kill Walker. Now they were going to show Walker what's up, but they were there for Zemo.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and he ends up he taking the serum, and then he have to go on and
yeah, but that
dies.
Yeah, that whole situation, it was as soon as he interfered, as soon as I think it really was as Zemo got away, that's when the whole Bass damn you kicked in.
No, she said that. She said it before.
She said it before.
She said it before. But
she said it right before she disarmed his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she turned and realized that he had slipped through the door.
Right.
And by then he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To her, it was still just interference.
They should have took.
And then and then the episode ends with the killing right on national TV.
Yeah.
Dishonoring the shield and everything.
Everybody with their iPhones.
The world is watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
World is watching.
And then episode 5, which is called The Truth, that episode picks up with the scene of now Sam and Bucky's like, yo, bro, you got to give up that shield.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the most gangster thing Bucky did this whole 6 episodes is other than 3 words.
Yeah.
Or them 4 words or whatever. Yeah. When he was like, you don't want to do this, and he's like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. I remember the trailer that came out right before that episode released. The last trailer came out before episode 5 came out. And I remember watching that.
How did you maintain your chill? Could you even chill?
I didn't. No, I was not.
I know.
No, I was texting friends. I was texting a friend, and he had just watched it. And I was like, dude, or I sent it to him. I was like, dude, watch this and tell me.
I heard you.
That the end of this trailer is not the beginning of the next episode. I was like, dude.
when I saw the TV spot advertisement of it, right? I said, "Ooh, I know Reese just lost all sanity." I knew it. I heard you saying it, man. I was like, I know it.
To be fair,
I did not watch. Once the season started, I didn't watch any trailers for the next episodes.
Yeah.
They kept popping up on my Facebook and Instagram and everything, and I was just like, there was no hope for me. I've had no chill since really the first trailer dropped months ago. I have had no chill since they announced we were getting this show.
Of course not. Of course not.
Because I'm me. But
yeah, it's like getting the ultimate. It's like getting the ultimate Christmas present,
right?
You know, every week for a month and a half.
Yeah, yeah. So there has been no chill over here for the last 6 weeks at all.
And again, I want to say kudos to the people who were behind the scenes with writing and directing and producing and everything. There's so many moving parts in the show, man. And one of the things that this show, what made the show this great is it dealt with something that WandaVision never really dealt with because of the time frame. Okay. Right. WandaVision is like what, 2 weeks after they come back? Right?
Something like that, yeah.
This is 6 months. This is 6 months. And you actually get to see the chaos,
right,
and the madness of what the world has come to because of the snap to bring back the blip.
Hey, no one even thought about how this was going to affect the world logistically. They just wanted to do it.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right. No.
Absolutely. Nobody thought about that.
No, not at all.
Okay. So another thing that I wanted to point out is just how much there's a callback to Captain America movies in this show. The show opens up, episode 1, it opens up with Sam jumping out of plane, free falling, the same way how Steve jumped out the plane in Winter Soldier, right?
Yep.
Then there's another callback. There's a few, but another one that is like spot on pointed out is in episode 4 or 5 when it starts, when they take in the shield from Walker, right?
Okay.
That is a 2-on-1 fight, just like when Bucky and Cap is fighting the bad guy. And at this point, Walker just took the serum. His serum is his armor. He is the armored one that has to fight against Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And you could say, yeah, that's a play on the words. Or
no, I've seen a lot of this because I've seen people like, no, that's a callback to when. Yeah, that's a callback to when Cap and Bucky were fighting Iron Man.
Yes.
Sam jumping out. Is. You also had the whole comment about jumping on a grenade. You know, there's so many callbacks. To the entire.
So many callbacks, man.
To everything that has happened in the Captain America movie so far.
Is it really callbacks, or is it just like a framework and they just insert the scene to make like two guys versus one guy? And then you fit a story around 2 guys versus 1 guy.
It's a callback.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I would say it's a callback.
To me, it looks like go ahead.
I was even during that fight with Walker when they're actually physically trying to take the shield off of his arm. I was even thinking of Infinity War trying to get the gauntlet off of Thanos. Like, they weren't even in that fight. Nobody from Captain America was in that fight. But I mean, that's the first thing I thought of.
Let me show you the callback here. You ready? Because you always say no, it's not. It's how your brain is programmed, Kei'Tano. And I want to say something to you, because the other day you was like, I can't use my source material. It's unfair, right? Here is why I can use my source material.
Oh, here we go.
Because I'm sorry, I'm down the rabbit hole, so just go with me. Because there is source material in the comics, you can take that and now put that. Everything that we saw in these 6 episodes, every episode, there was something out of the comic smack in your face. That's what made this show this great. You could change the story, slightly shift it left or right. If you keep the base, the base element of what it is, it's still that. And it's an amazing product. You have all these moving parts.
You're still taking it out of context. You're taking that conversation out of context for this conversation.
Let me point out when we're talking about callbacks, right?
Okay.
what in the two that was fighting against the one, right? Somebody lost something, yeah? Bucky lost his arm. Remember Tony blew off his arm?
Yep.
Right? So he had to walk away from that fight, being carried away from that fight with a broken, busted arm. Sam had to leave with broken, busted wings.
Yep.
It's no way you can't look at this and see the mirror.
Well,
And
that's
I mean,
my point.
Callback or the callback to something before this.
And
That's
I mean,
my point.
well, no, and it is.
What's your point?
So
You trying to say everything you could use that as a callback to something?
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that from a production standpoint and from a writing standpoint, that it seems to me that it's common to take what worked in one episode or one show or one movie and repurpose that scene in something else.
Well,
and you change the characters, you change the sequence. Not the fight sequence, but
okay. So
what is this? Okay, you got to talk about what the show is about first. What's this show?
And I'm not specifically saying Marvel. I'm talking about the entertainment industry. How they'll take a scene and repurpose it for something else.
Okay,
that's all. So I mean, and
I disagree.
Well, so I have a very small background in filmmaking. I did a little bit in college. And so, and I mean, no, Kei'Tano, you are right. They reuse stuff like that all the time. And partially because there is when you do figure out the formula and you figure out what works, you continue with that. That is true. Yeah. Yes, that is true. But it's like at the same time, it's a callback because you did use it before. And you are reminding the people who are watching it that, hey, we have done this before. This is where we did it before. And between all of the references to the movies so far, between all of the references to the movies and all of the reworking of scenes to be callbacks to those movies and those scenes, like that's just what they do. And they do it because they know how it resonated with the audience before.
So well put. Okay.
So
now,
therefore, a lot of these scenes get repurposed. So does that make it genius, or is it the opposite of that?
Something in between. Because some people think, I mean, honestly,
let me know when you're ready for me, man. Let me know when you're ready.
Honestly, because it's something in between, because there is a formula. My cousin who actually did go to film school at SCAD, I was talking to her about the show and she was asking me questions. She hasn't seen it at all. And I'm I'm trying not to give away spoilers, but it was like, she was asking me very poignant questions. And I was like yes or no questions, like, oh, well, does a character die? Does this happen? Does that happen? And I was just like, how do you know all of this? And she's like, I literally have a textbook here with this list of questions about the show. And depending on how you answer yes or no is going to, determine like demographics or this, that, or whatever. And I was like, there is a formula. And like I said, it's somewhere in between because they're using the same formula over and over and over again. And that could be considered lazy, but at the same time, the formula works. So
why mess with it?
So why mess with it if it works? Exactly.
If it works.
Listen. Yeah. I'm just like I say, anytime a show drops, I tell you what it's really about. Okay. And they keep it around that. With WandaVision, what I told you what we're gonna see was what? Rise of what?
Scarlet Witch.
Rise of the Scarlet Witch. That's what that show was about, right? This show was about Sam becoming Captain America, right?
Right.
And I said to you, this show is structured in what? About what? Legacy, right?
Right.
So if you're talking about Sam becoming Captain America, you have to mirror these Captain America things.
Why?
Right? And
Why?
we've seen him in Captain America 1, Captain America 2, Captain America 3.
Why do you have to?
Because you have to show why Steve gave Sam the shield, why he felt Sam was a person worthy enough for him to pass the shield off.
Yes.
Now,
but why can't it be a different set of trials?
It's not about the trials, man.
It's about
it's not about the trial. It's about you watching why the qualities that this person have is the same qualities that this person had, why he's passing and shifting it on. If you have two kids, granted, you want to give your kids the same of everything, right? But your affection toward one is going to be slightly different to the next one, right? The second thing is, if, for instance, me and Bucky there, we had a dispute.
I remember, I was about to bring this up. Yeah.
Right? And I said, who do you think is going to get the shield? And she said, go ahead and tell him who you said.
So I was going off of what happened originally.
No, just go ahead. Just tell him the name.
I said it was going to be Bucky, okay?
She said it was going to be Bucky, right?
Yeah, because I was going off what originally happened in the comics.
Sam.
Yeah.
Right, because Bucky wields the shield before Sam does, right?
Yes.
And I said, and knowing the history, now granted, I had a little inside scoop, but knowing the history and where we are in I think at the time it was 2018, 2019. When Endgame came out. 2019.
But we were having the argument back in like 2018.
Yes, the year before, right?
Yeah.
It's because I realized that right now we are in that era where Sam is Captain America.
Yep.
So I'm like, we're going to get Sam now as Cap, becoming Cap, before we see Bucky doing it.
Yeah.
Because Bucky still have too many skeletons in his closet. Literally. And then we see Bucky now having too many skeletons and had to deal with his skeletons.
And that was the thing, is like, you didn't see that so much in the movies. Like, you know, the trauma is there, but you don't see it play out in the movies. There was so much character growth for both of these characters in this show.
Yeah.
You know.
And we, we get to see the court scene with Walker when he gets stripped as Captain America, and it's, I don't think, because I think he got away scot-free. He killed a man, an innocent man, because the man
he got away scot-free from the court hearing.
Yeah.
From any kind of punishment other than getting stripped.
Right.
Yeah. No,
there was no justice. There was no justice for Nico.
Yeah, he got off.
Well, they're not going to give justice for him killing at the end of the day, in their eyes, he killed a terrorist. But he did it on foreign soil, and he did it on camera.
All right. Yeah, let's go.
But at the end of the day, Nico was still a terrorist in the government's eyes.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that.
But it was also the way in which he did it. It was the way in which he did it. He was not fighting back. That was the main thing. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he was pleading.
Right. So let's move on real quick. So then we have, the appearance of Julia Dreyfus, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And her backstory is so amazing, for anybody who haven't heard about her, or for those who have. There's a point in the comics where she ends up becoming Madam Hydra.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, she's also Agent 14, right behind of Agent 13, who is who? Sharon Carter, right?
Yep.
Right? And there were times where her and Sharon were running missions with Nick.
Okay.
So, but then Nick had her go undercover and embedded her into Hydra, and then she got scooped into Hydra and was working her angle. It's almost like she was a triple agent.
Gotcha.
A spy for the spy of the spy. Confusing. But anyway, amazing character, and I'm glad that we got to see her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she comes out, she gave this little card or whatever, she strolls off.
Yeah.
Then it goes to Sam taking the shield to Isaiah and wanting to give the shield to Isaiah. And that for me, man, like there were moments in the show where I got choked up. Now, the finale, I cried a little bit, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. Right? I was a punk, but it's okay because it was justified.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
But you hear Isaiah Bradley tell the story of what they did to him, right? And
Right.
for those who have read The Truth, The Red, White, and Black, it hits you a little deeper. And I think I said something to you about that, Kei'Tano, because somebody who have read that story and seeing them talk about it, and then when they get to the museum in the season finale where you see that,
Mm-hmm.
and there's clips that they use from the comics with the Red Tails being in formation on the field as army soldiers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they have that in the background in the museum. What struck me as amazing was it took real life pictures of the Tuskegee and had them in the museum.
Yep.
With the Captain America segment, with the Isaiah Bradley segment. So they took actual truth and fact and roped it in to the show. So it was amazing, man. You know, and then, Isaiah again, turned down Cap, and he gets in Sam's head by telling him,
Yeah.
man, ain't no black man would want to be Captain America after that. So now he's in Sam's head, and Sam goes back, and Bucky comes and gives him this, this thing that he gets from the Wakandans or whatever, and helps him do some repair and help him throw around the shield for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what was so monumental there was the bromance between the two of them. Fixing that boat, flirting with Sarah, and flirting with my sister, Kei'Tano.
I loved that.
You know how that go. You know how that go. It made me have to put hands on you, bro. I put hands on you. Don't flirt with my sister.
That was
I
so
love
funny.
that sequence so much. That was
it
was great.
It was beautiful.
That was great.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like she's a grown woman with 2 kids. So you can't be too protective because she's a grown woman with 2 kids. So
she's a grown woman, yeah. But
Right.
again, big brothers are gonna do what big brothers do, bro.
Mhm.
Say whatever you want to.
Right.
That's what we're gonna do. So that episode 6 opens up, episode 5 opens up or ends with the GLC about to vote. Episode 6 opens up right after, right? Or following that scene.
Mhm.
And of course, Bucky is in the city or whatever. Sam done made a phone call or whatever. He's like, I called her some help, whatever. Sharon shows up. Sam is flying. And the way he's flying is totally different because now he's no longer flying like Falcon flies. He's flying at Iron Man speed flying.
Mhm.
Did you guys catch that?
Yep.
He literally flies at the velocity that Iron Man flies around with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he's got that propulsion. He's got the same dog. He's got Wakanda tech now. Of course,
I was
he's
about to say,
flying.
well, that Wakanda
tech. Wakanda tech. And I was talking about just the functionality of his wings, right?
Mhm.
But before we even get into that, Sam throws a shield through the window. He come in, he's wearing the new suit, which is very much derived from the Captain America 1 when Sam literally takes over as Cap. He's wearing that suit. And I wish I had that comic book to hold up right here because I actually have it. And Sam's takeover, he's doing his thing or whatever. And you see that, and you see the way how the functionality of his wings and how it's moving. Carly tries to come down on it, and just to brace himself, his wings gave him added support by,
they just automatically just braced him. Yeah.
And I know I wanted to see how the tech works a little bit different. I was looking for shadow physics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Sam fully has understanding of his suit yet. And I believe in Captain America 4 that we will get to see Sam learning a lot more about his suits and his suit doing a lot more tricky stuff.
Yeah, because the suit seems very, very reactive to everything that's going on. Like we talked about earlier or the previous podcast, how Red Wing, which was Stark Tech, how reactive Red Wing
How
was.
he talks to it.
Yeah, how he was talking to Red Wing, and Red Wing was off
Red Wing got babies now.
And it's like now it's
babies.
Now it's not just Red Wing, it's the entire suit. Like I saw that shield come up.
Let me
I saw that shield come up and
and
the wings came around and that helicopter just bounced.
How did you feel when you saw the new suit? First of all, remember I had shown you a sneak peek of the new suit.
So
you remember the toy had also got leaked.
I hadn't seen the toy. I remember you guys talking about it. And it was like, at this point, it's like, especially after he handed him the case, like, I knew it was in the case. And finally getting to see it, like, I was, like, freaking out that entire episode. Just seeing him in the suit was just amazing.
Listen, I had lost it. For the moment he came through the window, man, I was like, Sam, get it, Sam, get it.
Even before that, the second I saw him streaking through the air, and I was like, "Oh man, this is it!"
I like the way the wings arch forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the others didn't do that.
Yeah.
They went forward, but not that much.
Right. These went like straight ahead.
Yeah.
And he could literally like move them, so it's almost like he could propel himself. So he could put his wings forward. And then by the time he put him back, it's like he's going into like a Mach 2 or something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it's genius the way how the functionality of his suit.
Yeah,
and
it's
his wings. I wanted to see Carly shoot him though, and here's why. I wanted to see if the Wakandans had weave vibranium mesh into his suit.
I thought about that when she was pointing the gun at him. I was like, is that even gonna do anything? Because if that's vibranium,
because we don't know.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know. And I'm gonna point out something else too. We don't, because they weave vibranium into and stitch it into their clothes.
Yeah, I remember that.
So so I was like, I wonder if they stitched it into his suit. Remember when he got slammed into the big metal beams and fell into the water?
Yeah.
Right.
There's gonna be something in that suit. Or even the truck.
First of all, the
truck.
This man is flying on the water, yo.
Yeah. My whole
say whatever you want to, man. Like, Kei'Tano, I don't think you excited as we were.
Flying underwater.
He's flying on the water. He wasn't swimming, bruh. At that speed, he's flying. He flew straight out the water. That's some Iron Man.
I don't even know if that's even a thing, yo. Is that even possible?
It's a thing. Bruh, what am I going to say? He was submarining under the water. Bruh, he was flying. Wakanda Tech can fly underwater. I'm telling you, because it is what it is.
Man.
I am now officially done. I'm done.
Listen. Even if I'm fanboying and getting too extreme.
Oh, you fanboying it right now. You're definitely fanboying it right now.
It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on TV. On TV, yo.
Ever?
And I don't know if any one of you guys remember me talking about in the comics when T'Challa had gave him wings. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember you talking about it last time.
Yeah. Like so to see him getting these wings and how great and ahead of the game that these wings is, you know, and again I have to go back because that's literally, as far as the action, like the dopest thing for me was watching when he got the pilot out and they came down on the bridge or whatever. And the helicopter was coming down on him.
Yeah, that was a dope scene right there.
Dude, just
bro, the
like I said,
that dome.
They
made a shield.
They literally encased around the shield, so the shield is at the very top of the dome, and then the wings have this vibranium encased dome.
Yeah,
and you see the helicopter hit it and just bounced off like the helicopter is paper.
Yeah, like
I thought
you were sitting there watching.
That just hit the.
No, the whole helicopter hit it.
The whole helicopter hit, bounced off, and like went into the water.
And
like,
went into
T'Challa's over there looking at, you know, the patterns and the wings and this, that, and I'm just like, dude, that helicopter just bounced off those wings.
You know how he is. Yeah. You know how he is.
I am, yo. Because I look at dude, I'm technical, so I'm looking at all kinds of different things. You know. But then, you know, we fast forward to the room and the big fight and everything, and you know, the power broker gets revealed to be Sharon, which I don't think it's Sharon. I'm gonna get to that in a second. You know, and then, you know, of course, Carly dies, she gets shot, which I said she was gonna die this episode. I just thought that Walker was gonna kill her.
Yeah.
He almost. I mean, he tried. He tried. Not
he definitely did.
He tried. I mean, it wasn't a very good effort but he tried.
But then seeing Sam, you know, like taking her out of there and bringing her down in front of everybody, it was almost like an angel coming down. The way how his wings had like span out.
I have seen that comment so many times about that scene.
It was like, it was literally like an angel was cradling, bringing down, you know, this lifeless body or whatever.
Yeah,
and then he had, this is where, listen, man, all the things that happen in this show, no, it was at this moment he became Captain America. Because he stood up to the government and he told them everything that was wrong with what they were doing. And it's in that moment Sam becomes Captain America. Yes. And that was because he didn't just only embrace the physical Captain America thing with the shield and everything. When he walks in, when he flies in the window, he does that. When the guy's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Captain America," right? That's not when he became Captain America. It's at the end is when he became Captain America. When he had this epic speech, right? And the cameras are rolling, right? And as at that moment, the entire world is watching Sam. Captain America born. And that was beautiful, man. You know, and it was even back in, what was it, 3, where Bucky made the comment of, and this is why Steve picked him, is even way back during the Accords, when Steve opposed the government because of the Accords, Sam backed him. And Bucky's like, I'm asking you to do it again. That was why he chose him, because you're not just doing this because, you know, you're not doing something because somebody else tells you to. You're actually thinking it through. Because you know, Steve, he was never the government's first choice to be the super soldier. Never was. He was never the government's first choice. He was Erskine's choice. He was Erskine's choice, not the government. You know, and that was my whole thing, is like, you saw who the government picked to be Captain America. Right. We all saw how that ended. And it was like versus versus how both Steve and now Sam have handled holding that shield. And it's
here's my take on Here's my take on it. One, when you say when he talked to the senator, like that's when he became Captain America. In my mind, that may have been when he became Captain America to the world.
Yes, but that's a fair statement.
As far as the mantle of Captain America, I think he picks that up after the conversation with his sister. Because she's like, are you going to let Isaiah Bradley tell you who you are? Or are you going to be who you are? You know, so,
but I mean, he's struggling because, and again,
at that point, it's no longer a conversation though, because he's already started training. He's throwing the shield around. You know, he's had this conversation with his sister. He's told Bucky. He told Bucky basically what he came to the conclusion of for himself minutes ago.
No, you're wrong. He has a conversation with his sister before he starts training.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying.
But anyway,
the conversation he had with Bucky though about
he had that conversation before he talked to his sister.
Yeah, he said, "Yo, time for some tough love."
But
so even he was had that conversation after he talked with his sister, right? Or no?
Yeah.
No.
That was he talked to his sister.
No, the conversation with Bucky was.
He had the tough love conversation with Bucky after he talks to his sister.
I thought it was before.
Correct. And
no,
that's
it was after.
You were making my point for me, which is he decided within himself after either during or after that conversation with his sister. The conversation with Bucky, which happens obviously later in the episode, or not, but not that much later, is just a reflection of the conversation he had with himself, or the decision he made for himself to pick up the mantle. But so what I'm saying is that within himself, in episode 5, he has chosen to be Captain America. In episode 6, the world got to see it.
But here's the thing, the world didn't get to see it until he faced the government.
Right.
You see, the real bully here is the government. And what makes you that hero is when you have to face off against your nemesis, right? Sam literally was a member of the armed forces. So for Sam, obeying his command is what they program him to do, right? So he's gonna face his bully now and say, yo, no, don't call these people terrorists. Don't call these people thugs. And that is such a play on things. This whole last episode was meant for the impact in what the world is dealing with today.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Even down to the conversation where he has with Isaiah Bradley. And when he's talking to the senators, when the senator's like, I don't think you understand. He's like, you don't think I do? It's like, shit, I'm a black man in America carrying the stars and stripes.
Right.
Right.
And looking, after talking to Isaiah Bradley, looking back at it, because remember, Isaiah's like, no self-respecting black man is gonna want to do that. Because the government is not gonna want to put a black man out front. Literally what they did to Isaiah. Oh, go on missions, do things, do this, do this. Isaiah Bradley does the same thing Captain America does in Captain America 1. The same thing.
Yeah.
And they throw him in jail. Cap does that, becomes a national hero. And you can't tell me that Sam isn't carrying the weight of every black man on his shoulder.
Oh, when he talks about people gonna be mad at me for doing this, that's
he's like, you don't think I see judgment? He's like, yo, I see eyes, I see people scowling
right now.
Right. There's
judgment, man.
Yeah. People who, he even said there's people who hate me right now just for doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but in the world, in the eye of the world, right? That's the moment right there that he becomes Cap. Whether or not in his head or in his heart he had done made that decision. That's the moment where the world realized who and what Captain America is. It's that symbol that, listen, even if you're not ready for change, change is here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's here.
Right.
But then, he flies off or whatever. He goes to see Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where it gets emotional for me, because he gets there, he talks to Isaiah Bradley. He said, get clean up. I got something for you. And before that, he's saying something to Isaiah Bradley about fighting for his country. And Isaiah Bradley kind of chokes up. And he was like, shit, you got me. You almost got me. Right. And it's a funny moment because Sam is like, man, you don't let up at all. But again, he get it. He understands why Isaiah Bradley is that way.
Right.
But then he takes Isaiah Bradley to the very same museum where they were honoring Steve. And he had a special room where Isaiah Bradley was honored. And again, for the readers who read the Red, White, and Black, I literally broke and fell down my face, because as such a diehard comic book reader, right? When I embed myself into the comics, or when I read comics, I embed myself in there. So it's almost like I feel like I'm literally in this world. So to see what happened in that story, to see them bring it to life in the show, and to see the way they executed it, you could not get choked up.
Yeah.
And then the relationship between Sam and Isaiah, if you know the two of them, and again, I pointed this out to you, Kei'Tano, in the comics, when they go to the wedding of T'Challa and Aurora, Sam is the one that's pushing him in the wheelchair. When Luke Cage is fangirling over there on the side.
Yeah, you did tell me about that.
It's because of their relationship. And you see how much their relationship grew with one another here. Even
you think we see him in Captain America 4?
I don't know.
We see Isaiah again?
We might. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see some kind of nod toward Eli wanting to take on.
I was about to say, when is
is
Eli gonna take on the mantle of Patriot? Because I mean,
so it's very strong. It's a very strong possibility. That now we get to see Isaiah be a staple for Sam. Okay.
Yeah.
And we get to see the rise of Eli Bradley in the next maybe decade. 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. They keep their appearance was so much, even when we didn't think they were going to come back, they were coming back, right? And it's a reason for that. And when you're a gem or a nugget or something, Marvel throws you out, right? But when they're going to use you in multiple things, they put you out in front.
Yeah.
And they did that with Carl Lumbly and Elijah, what is his name? Johnson Robinson. The guy who's playing Eli Bradley, literally his name is Eli.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's genius, man. And you got emotional. I did,
Yeah.
And if some people didn't get emotional, that means they don't have any feelings, because you could not help but get emotional.
I think that you probably are not going to be as emotional if you don't connect with the story the way we have. And I would say, Marvel, or let me rephrase. Knowing you, T'Challa, has obviously opened up my world as far as stories go within the comic books. So, I mean, obviously, reading a comic book wasn't a big thing to me, but you pointed out certain stories, and I got a chance to read those things. So now I can understand the way these characters are feeling. And so when you see it on screen, it does something, right? It makes you,
it does something for you.
It does something when you actually see it,
Right.
And I appreciate that in this world of comic book heroes that we see on screen, that Marvel still tries to tell a compelling story for these different characters. So,
well, we've also grown with Sam for the last 8 years as well. 7 to 8
it's hard
years.
to believe it's been that long.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it?
But at the same time, though, we saw a lot of Sam in Winter Soldier, but we really just saw pieces of Sam in the other films. He's there, but we're not seeing a whole lot of story around him until now.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, he's getting his due, and I'm so grateful for that. We got a couple more minutes here. I'm going to try to wrap up real quick so we could go ahead and announce these winners. We get to see the scene after that is U.S. Agent with
his wife and
Valentina, right?
Valentina, yeah.
But there's something that a lot of people miss there. Valentina says what? Because right before that, the Skrulls die, right? They get not the Skrulls. I'm sorry, the
Flag Smashers,
super soldiers. The super soldiers get blown up.
Mm-hmm.
We actually see who was behind that explosion, and it was Zemo all along. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I was slightly confused because I'm the guard that closes the door basically says, "I'm one of you guys." Yeah. And then it drives off.
Well, that's
it. So it wasn't until the second time I saw the show. Man, I have seen it multiple times. The second time I saw it, I'm like, oh, they really did blow up.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was a cover. The first time I thought it was a cover. Second time, I'm like, Zemo got him.
But here's the thing. And I don't know if you remember I said, I believe Zemo has a what? You remember the book he was reading?
Machiavelli
and Da Vinci, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's always a Da Vinci to a Machiavelli, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, Valentina says in the next scene, I guess Zemo got the last laugh after all.
Mm-hmm.
How did she know that was what Zemo wanted? She had to have been talking to Zemo, been in cahoots with Zemo.
Well, you said that before, that they were most likely
as his Machiavelli or his Da Vinci.
The real question was, is Zemo going to accept U.S. Agent on the team? I say no.
No.
Listen.
I say the minute he gets a chance to off Walker, he's going to off Walker.
The moment he get a chance, he will. But it's
until then, he'll play nice. He'll play nice until then.
And here's my theory, and I'm gonna say it here. And then we go see if it pans out. Okay. She knew Zemo was at the RAF, right? She talked to Zemo while Zemo was at the RAF. Who governs the RAF? That is Thunderbolt Ross. You feel me?
Yeah.
The team is formed, and me and you, when I broke it down, the members of that team, who was the one who literally ran the Thunderbolts or was in charge of the Thunderbolts?
You said Ross, right?
Well, Ross was the one who put the team together or oversaw, the whole Thunderbolts thing, right? But who was team leader?
U.S. agent? I don't know.
No. Zemo was team leader.
Okay. This is all new to me.
Yeah.
Same here.
Zemo was team leader on the Thunderbolts, right? But she's telling Walker that things are gonna get weird because we're not gonna need a Captain America, but we're gonna need a U.S. agent, right?
Right.
Because he's an anti-hero, whatever that goes on missions for the government and do some shady stuff or whatever.
Right.
You know, in fairness of the government. But keep in mind, Valentina's there. See, remember my original theory, we were gonna see Walker in jail because he was gonna kill Carly. And Valentina was gonna walk by and I'd speak to him and tell him about this team. Camera pans over, is gonna be Zemo. That was my initial theory. We got all of that in a different setting. We did get Valentina putting him in a new suit, telling him things are gonna get weird for what's to come.
Right.
Get ready, keep your phone close, right? But we also got to see Zemo in the jail on the raft. We also know by Valentina talking about Zemo gets the last laugh that she had a conversation with Zemo at the raft.
Right. She had to know that he was behind the bombing.
All along, Zemo as Machiavelli and his Da Vinci is Valentina.
Okay.
Who is putting these guys and people together to form this Thunderbolts team. I'm saying it. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. It's coming. And here's the thing. I want to talk real quick about, there was 2 deleted scenes. Old Man Cap was coming back. Okay. But Florence Pugh was also supposed to make an appearance at the raft.
Yeah.
Where? At the raft. And it was going to be something between her and Zemo and Valentina and that whole thing with the Thunderbolts thing. But they end up taking that out. And for the reason for that is they couldn't just show Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova because you would have had no idea who Yelena Belova was.
Right. Because I even remember.
You see what I'm saying?
I even remember texting you.
And again, they pulled that out because that scene was supposed to be in this. And again, to tie in my theory of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Boom, mic drop.
Hey, I hope they do bring it because if they don't bring Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, you may feel a certain kind of way.
Me and you already had the conversation about Black Widow. He's in Black Widow.
Yeah.
Valentina is in Black Widow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yelena Belova is in Black Widow. So
I hope this pans out better than Mortal Kombat panned out for you.
Man, listen, we're not gonna talk about Mortal Kombat. Do not make me go down that rabbit hole. I got a lot of stuff still to do.
I'm just saying, I hope that this pans out because you felt some kind of way yesterday and today about that.
Listen, do not put me down that rabbit hole, dude. Do not.
I'm not.
Okay, real quick.
Hey, this is like the 3rd or 4th real quick, just so you know.
I know, but look, you're talking about Mortal Kombat. All right?
No, I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat. I'm just saying,
listen, let us not stray. So Sharon Carter, right? You see her post-credit scene in the courtroom getting her pardon, right? And they're giving her old job back.
Yeah.
And she walks out, and as she's walking out the courtroom, what does she do? She looks directly at the camera. Directly at the camera, as if she's like, I'm not really Sharon Carter. Go back and look at it. The way she looks at the camera, you're not going to do that if, you know what I'm saying? As an actor, you tend to look away or whatever.
Yeah.
But she looks right at the camera.
I'm giving you funny looks right now because I'm where are you going
it's
with
all
this?
good. Bro, it's all good.
I don't know if she looks directly into camera, but there was a look on her face.
Then we see her outside, and she's telling somebody, now we have access to everything super soldiers off the menu, right? Here is where I'm going. There's 2 things. One, she's talking to the real power broker. I don't think she's the power broker.
But of course, until the narrative has been changed, that's what.
until the narrative had been changed. Okay.
Yes.
She said to Carly, after the blip, I took you in. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for the 5 years that everybody blipped away, Carly Morgenthau was taken in by Sharon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yet, when you go back and you look at Endgame, the opening scene where they all sitting there looking at all the people that got snapped away, Sharon picture is up there.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I like literally before we started this was watching Endgame.
So
yeah, I don't remember seeing her face.
Go back. As a matter of fact, when they're showing Falcon as being one of the people that got blipped away in the computer in the back or the screen in the back, further behind that to the right, you see a picture of Sharon right there. So you know Sharon got blipped away too. So here's my theory.
But no,
she's not really Sharon.
No. Hang on.
She's not. Go ahead.
Hold on. Because Carly didn't go to Mandrapore till after the blip was reversed. That's when. Yeah. Because she got displaced. She got displaced because everybody came back. I thought that's what they said. Yeah.
Okay. Timeline wise.
Okay.
Timeline wise, you can't. I can't put all those pieces together. But here's what I can say. That's really Sharon, because Sharon said things to Bucky and to Falcon that Sharon would know. No,
she said stuff to Sam and Bucky that's basic information. Nothing she said to them, go back and watch and listen. Nothing she said to them is intimate stuff. Everything she said to them.
It's not intimate, but it's like
basic because it's in the museum, man. Come on.
Nah, I'm not sold.
Go back and listen.
I'm not sold.
Yeah,
Okay. Not sold.
Okay.
That's really Sharon.
And if she's the power broker, right? If she's that big of a person, and after the blip or whatever, she's running Madripoor, then why when the blip came back, she's still in Madripoor running things, if that's really Sharon? Because the real Sharon got blipped away. So explain that to me, unless Marvel screwed up somewhere. Here's what I say. Watch Endgame.
I will go back to my original belief about Sharon. Sharon is a Carter. She knew her grandmother, Peggy.
Bro,
no,
grandmother
her
or
aunt.
aunt? That was her aunt.
Her aunt.
Her
yes.
aunt, right? She knew her Aunt Peggy. So she's not going to ruin the Carter name for something other than what's right. So I am left to believe that she is deep cover and is posing as, she may not be the real power broker. There might be somebody else that's the real power broker, but the narrative is that she is right now. But I will say that even if she is the power broker, she is undercover.
Because the only two people who called her, the only two people who discovered she was the power broker are now both dead. Sam doesn't know, Bucky doesn't know.
Yeah, I thought that first.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm still saying suspect or Skrull.
Could be Skrull, because we've seen that
already. Because if I'm, do Skrulls get them when do they get the memories?
Skrull gets memories. If you have abilities, they get abilities. They get everything from you down to your DNA.
I would sign on to
you know that because you've read Secret Invasion. When Bobby is telling Clint,
I would go with the story of Sharon being a Skrull. I will.
That's a possibility.
Go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good possibility.
Then I don't want you to say, hey,
which
whatever.
Leads to the
this is on you. If that's what you're going with, that's what you're going with. But again, this is Skrully behavior.
Right, especially since we're getting Secret Invasion. Well, especially since
Secret Invasion coming.
Yeah, and it's a Disney Plus show.
Right.
And it's a Disney Plus show. So that's, if she is a Skrull, bridge the gap there. And then,
I will definitely sign on to the theory. Yeah, I can see that. You originated it now. Don't get me wrong. You originated, but I am sold on that theory of her being a Skrull or a deep cover, not a traitor.
Yeah.
Which is how she's appearing right now.
Because otherwise Aunt Peggy is turning in her grave.
Right. And we don't want Aunt Peggy turning in her grave.
Right.
She fought too hard for too long.
God forbid Uncle Steve comes down from the moon.
Right.
Oh, man, he on the
Steve-
he up there chilling with Nick.
Uncle Steve will go back in time and go get his younger self going and say, "Hey, you got to go somewhere. You got to go. You got to go to the future. You got to go deal with this mess because your niece is blowing it." So, yeah, that's not.
I ain't got no comments, bro.
That's not. Hey, that's a very good theory with the scrolls. That's a very sound.
And when you get a second,
theory.
when you get a second, you go back and you look at Endgame again. And right there when you get to it by Sam, pause real quick. Because remember, she's in the back screen and the people are changing simultaneously.
I can't just take your word for it.
No. Because I want to be like, you're gonna give me my "I told you so" moment.
Are we back to this again? Are we back to this? Did we not have a conversation off screen, off camera about human beings?
Listen, we gotta wrap, dude. We gotta wrap it up.
We do have to wrap. We do.
Just go watch it again so you could give me my "I told you so" moment.
All right.
I don't
so
want
that's what you want.
I don't want no conceding on fear of losing.
Just look it up on YouTube. You don't have to watch the whole movie again. Jeez.
I appreciate that, Reese. I appreciate that because
do they have it on YouTube?
Oh, I'm sure it's somewhere on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, somebody probably.
I'm sure somebody's got like some sort of commentary where they're like pulling up every single person who got blipped and this, that, and whatever. So I'm sure it's somewhere out there.
I'm sure there's probably a Google article that says everyone who got blipped in
there you go. Do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but yeah. Go ahead. I'm sure you can find. I'm sure you can
evidence.
But here's the thing. After they drop everything now, after like every new show, I go back and I watch Endgame and then I watch this to see the connection. And in watching Endgame, I literally like, wait a minute. Rewind it back, pause, rewind it, pause. Hey, that's Sharon right there. She couldn't have been in Magic Pause, the power broker, if she out here doing this and doing.
Right.
I'm gonna just take, but I cannot take your word for it. You're saying, and we also take your word for it. I gotta go look at.
There's also the scroll at the end of WandaVision as well, talking to Monica. So
about up there.
Are we gonna see scrolls on both sides?
I don't know. Possibly. I'm not making that prediction just yet.
I don't know.
But very strong possibility. We might get to see good and bad, but most of the time have always been depicted as bad.
The whole thing about the MCU is that everything interconnects.
I just want to see the Skrull Queen.
Okay.
All right.
Because if you know that story, the Skrull Queen was the boss. I just want to see what actor what actress they're gonna put there as the Skrull Queen. It got to be somebody that's a phenomenal actress.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking Skrull Invasion, because the one who actually makes has the final drop the mic moment is the Skrull Queen. So I want to see whoever she is, whatever she's doing, she's gonna have some big shoes to fill if she's supposed to be the Skrull Queen. All right, I need to introduce these winners.
All right.
Before y'all got anything before we get out of here?
I have nothing.
No?
All right. We have the Marvel versus DC battle royale coming up, and for the last few months we've been having people email in and whatever, and we told you guys we were gonna pick from those two. Okay. And representing the side of DC, we have Tim Grubbs, huge comic book fan from what I know about this guy, a lot of knowledge. And so he's definitely going to be representing the side of DC.
What's his handle?
I don't know what his handle is. I just know he go by Tim Grubbs is what I know he goes by. Phenomenal dude when it comes to knowledge and depth. So Marvel, you're going to have to bring it. Representing the side of Marvel, we have Blue Minotti. His first name is Blue. I don't really know too much about him except he's a Marvel fan. The way how he spoke on the questionnaire that he answered, it made me realize, okay, this guy has range. So he can potentially bring it, but out of all of the Marvel people, he was the most qualified choice. So again, we got Tim Grubbs and Blue Minotti supposed to be battling for the side of Marvel versus DC Battle Royale. You guys get ready. You're going to be getting an email. So make sure you check it and you reply so we can set up the date of that cast. Okay.
All right.
Kei'Tano, you have anything before we get out of here?
No, man, I really enjoyed this. And I know that I'm in the minority when I say this, but I am also enjoying these short formats that they're doing with Marvel. 30 to hour-long episodes, tight story. It's like a 6-hour movie that we watched.
Yeah.
Literally.
Unfortunately, it was week to week. I know you would all prefer that it be all uploaded all at one shot.
I don't know, because it's like, because like I said before, it's like you get, you're getting it week to week, but that also gives you time to go back and analyze the previous episodes.
Right.
So
what
I'm
I
enjoying that.
What I appreciate is that they're going week to week and they're not taking a break, like making you wait 2 or 3 weeks before you get your next episode.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
they're literally
that.
They're treating it like it was a show on television,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I can live with these 8 to 6 episodes that they've done so far. Like I really like it.
You might be able to.
Loki
you
comes
might
out.
be able to. I want more.
Of course you want more. And like I said, I believe I'm in the minority when I say this, but I have commitment issues. Okay. Yeah. So I like that it's not a long-term commitment. It's just a short-term, thing. Like, we're dating. And then I'm on to the next show. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Loki brings. I wasn't sure how to feel about Loki coming out, but given what has happened with WandaVision and Winter Soldier, now Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Everything they put out, whether you like it or not, is for us fans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, 20 years ago, we wasn't getting this.
Right. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Loki.
Yeah.
And I guess that takes off in 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, get a little break. I like it.
I thought it was longer than 2 weeks. Because when is Black Widow coming out?
You know what?
What's the date?
Black Widow's in July.
Is it in July?
It's in July.
Okay.
I thought they said we're gonna have a week break and then the next one.
Yeah, I think Loki's a little longer, but
when is it coming out?
Oh God, I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's fine. I can take a break. I'm cool with a break.
Yeah.
But again,
we go with a break.
Yeah, again, we got the behind the scenes and the Legends episodes next weekend.
Yep. That's correct. That is correct.
All right.
Bucky, listen, it's always a pleasure to have you. You know that, right?
Absolutely. Always glad to be here. Always glad to be here.
Yeah. So glad. All right. Guys, thank you for coming along on this journey with us. We had a great time with you being in here. Had some fun chopping it up. Absolutely. Captain America and the Winter Soldier style.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Hey, and next season, are we going to get Captain America and the White Wolf or what?
No.
He's like, no, that's not happening.
No.
They told him he has to stay.
Did you not hear him to stay scarce for a while?
Yeah,
He's still pissed off with him.
That's a year. For a while, it's a year. Off with him.
Hey, let it go, man. Let it go.
Yeah, they said stay out for a little while, so.
Hey, look,
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
If I'm not mistaken, I asked the question a couple weeks ago, were they gonna change it to Captain America and the White Wolf? And the answer was no, but we got the Captain America half.
I was about to say we got halfway there.
Yes.
We got halfway there.
And here's why, right? Here's why you wouldn't get the Captain America and the White Wolf, because only in Wakanda we call him the White Wolf.
Fair.
The world doesn't call him the White Wolf. The world calls him the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I think he's gonna continue to use it. Just use his abilities as a hero rather than a villain. So,
yeah. Man, I had a great time, guys.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. All right, but for now, this is your boy Tchallabpp74 and my man
Kei'Tano.
Good night. We out.